Welcome students to the Civil Services Achievers Point. We are discussing today the Assam Tribune of 19th and 20 October. This Assam Tribune analysis is based on the new pattern of APSC and it is also useful for the other state level government examinations. At Civil Services Achievers Point, we have various courses. You can call at the number given below for further details. You can also follow us on the social media platforms. These are the answers to the MCQs of 18 October, and these are the MCQs of 20 October. You can pause the video here and you can try to answer these questions in the comment section below. The answers to these MCQs will be provided in the next current affairs class. So these are the important newspaper articles we are discussing today and the important editorials we are discussing. So students, let us begin with the news articles first. The first news article is very important from our exam perspective. So Jogighopa to get the India's first multi-modal logistics park, and it will boost the domestic and international trade. So this is important for our general studies on Assam paper, economic development, also from the paper GS3, and topic economic development. So the Union Minister Niti Aayog will set the ball rolling. This is the start. India's first international multi-modal logistic park. So it is International Multi-Modal MMLP to be set up at Jogighopa in Bongaigaon. So in which district? It is in the Bongaigaon district at an investment of rupees 3,000 crore under the Bharatmala project. So each and every point of this line is very important from our examination point of view. So this project is initiated to drive the economic growth and trade competitiveness of India through an integrated, seamless, efficient and reliable and cost-effective logistics network. And Jogighopa multimodal logistic park project is the first among the 35 such MMLP projects. That is 35 projects will be there. So among the 35, Jogighopa is the first, and this is also done because Assam is at a very pivotal location of the Act East policy. So this Jogighopa MMLP is the only one that will be funded completely by the government of India, and it is aimed at improving logistics efficiency and facilitate domestic and export-import trade in the region. So what it will help? Improving logistics efficiency and facilitate domestic and export-import trade in the region. So the Union Ministry of Road Transport and Highways has entrusted the NHIDCL with the work of development of the MMLP, that is the multi-modal logistics park at Jogighopa. Now the Assam government has approved transfer of 200 acres of land belonging to the Ashok paper mill, and the project site has a vantage location and will offer multi-modal connectivity through the rail, road and waterways to the states in the northeast and beyond. Now the Jogighopa multi-modal logistics park is also linked to the east-west corridor via the Tulungia-Hapasara highway and a project awarded for improvement to a 4-lane highway. Now this Jogighopa logistics park is connected by all the modes of transport, that is the road, rail and airways and waterways, and the MMLP is proposed to be developed in 2 phases and will be led by a special purpose vehicle SPV that includes members from the government of Assam, NHIDCL and Ashok paper mill. So coming to the next important article, Pakistan fails to fulfill 6 key mandates or the provisions of the Financial Action Task Force or FATF. In the comment section, students, you can mention where is the headquarters of FATF located, because APSC may ask, generally APSC asks the headquarters of WTO, IMF or the World Bank. This time APSC may ask the headquarters of FATF, and it is, since frequently it is in news, students, you should be knowing this information. So in the comment section you can mention it. So the background is that Pakistan's failure to fulfill 6 key obligations of the FATF, and including action against 2 of India's most wanted terrorists, Maulana Masood Azhar and Hafiz Saeed, and the sudden disappearance of more than 4,000 terrorists from its official list, will most likely leads to its continuation in the grey list. And since it is in grey list, it is very difficult for Pakistan to get international aid, which we will discuss in the coming slides. So FATF, what is the FATF? The FATF is the Global Money Laundering and Terrorist Financing Watchdog, and the full form of FATF is Financial Action Task Force. The FATF had given Pakistan a total of 27 action plan obligations for completely checking terror financing, of which so far it has cleared 21 but has failed in some of the key tasks. Now the mandates which Pakistan has failed to include action against all UN designated terrorists like Jaise Mohammed Chief Azhar, Lashkar-e-Taiba founder Saeed, and the outfit's operational commander Zakir Rahman Lakhvi. So under these circumstances, it is almost certain that Pakistan will continue in the FATF grey list. And what happens if a country is in FATF grey list? It is increasingly becoming difficult for Islamabad to get financial aid. International if a country is in the grey list. So it is increasingly becoming difficult for Islamabad to get financial aid from the International Monetary Fund, World Bank, the Asian Development Bank, and the European Union, and thus further enhancing problems for the neighboring country, which is in a very dangerous financial situation. Now coming to the next important article, eminent economist Dr. Jayanta Madhab passed away, and this topic we are studying under the General Secretary of Assam Economic Development. So eminent economist and a former director of Asian Development Bank, ADB, Dr. Jayanta Madhab has breathed his last, and he was a doctorate from the London School of Economics. Dr. Madhab was a visionary economist of the continent, and he started his career in the Calcutta Metropolitan Planning Organization under the Ford Foundation. He later functioned as the economic and financial advisor to the chief minister during the regime of Tarun Gogoi. After retiring from ADB, Dr. Madhab returned to his homeland, and for the last 3 decades, he had been working untiringly to develop the state's economy. He was also instrumental in setting up the Northeastern Development Finance Corporation Limited, that is NEDFI, and was also the founder chairman. So APSC may ask what is the full form of NEDFI, and they may ask who was the founder chairman of NEDFI. So this is a very important article, students should know about it. Coming to our next important article, WWF Pernod Ricard India Foundation to conserve the elephants in the state. So this topic we are studying under the General Studies on Assam paper, topic Environment and Biodiversity. WWF India has joined hands with Pernod Ricard India Foundation to conserve the Asian elephant in Assam through effective human-elephant conflict management. The project will work across 150 villages in Kamrup, Sonitpur, Vishwanath, and Nagaon districts, and train community members on effective situation management by developing a toolkit and forming anti-depredation squads which would help them protect their property, crops, and lives. Because we know, due to the man-elephant or man-elephant conflict, the loss of property, loss of crops, and of lives is very high. And this project will help in developing the community so as to minimize those losses. Also, with the creation of a safe elephants manual, communities will also be equipped with training, supplies, and institutional support for the construction of low-cost elephant-safe solar-powered fences. Now coming to the next important article, changes being made in all sectors to ensure India's growth. So this is as per the Prime Minister Modi. So this we are discussing under the General Studies on Assam paper, Economic Development. Prime Minister Narendra Modi said necessary changes are being made in every sector to ensure growth and to make this decade India's. So he said that efforts are being made at all levels to make the country a global hub for higher education and its youth competitive. So is in various sectors like agriculture, space, defense, aviation, and labor, various reform measures have been undertaken. So he said that multiple reforms regarding the new national education policy for education sector, agriculture related reforms which are empowering farmers, and labor laws for giving a trust to growth and security of both laborers and industries. So labor reforms, farm reforms, and education policy, these are very important reforms in the different sectors. Also, the direct benefit transfer has brought in reforms in the public distribution system with real estate regulatory authority, that is RERA. Home buyers have got protection. If GST was brought in to save the country from the wave of taxes, faceless assessment was brought in for the sake of taxpayers. So also the benefits of the insolvency and bankruptcy code, that is the IBC code, and FDI reforms. So some of the important reforms have been highlighted by the Prime Minister here. Also, along with the emphasis on the higher education sector reforms, also focus has been given on the infrastructure development to structural reforms, and efforts have been made at all levels from qualitative to quantitative to make India a global hub for higher education and to make our youth competitive, citing the increase in the number of IITs, IIMs, and AIMS in the last 6 years. So these are some of the important observations by the Prime Minister. So these are very important. Now coming to the next important article, Australia to be part of the Malabar exercise, and this we are discussing under the General Studies 2 paper, International Relations. India announced that Australia will join the upcoming Malabar exercise, which effectively means that all the 4 members of the Quad coalition will be participating in the mega drill. Now, students, you can mention in the comment section the 4 countries which are taking part in the Malabar exercise, the 4 countries. They are also the member of the Quad nations. Now coming to the next important article, state government's financial year 21 deficit seen higher at 5% of the gross state domestic product. So state governments, so this topic we are discussing under the General Studies 3 paper, economic development topic. State government's deficit is seen higher at 5%, and which is up from earlier estimate of 4.5% of gross state domestic product, GSDP, as COVID-19 continues to suppress economic activities, resulting in lower resource mobilization and higher state expenditure. Now, in a research report on public finance, the brokerage said that finances of state governments remain weak with a sample of 16 states, suggesting that revenue receipts fell 11.4% during the 4 months of financial year 21. Also, during the April-July period, tax collection on 16 identified states stood at rupees 2,90,900 crore as against the 3,79,300 crore in the same period the previous year, and it is seen that a drop of over 23%. The states have also witnessed a sharp decrease in sales tax revenue during the period during to slowing down of economic activities across the sector. So this is showing that due to the COVID-19 lockdown, the state's GDP is also decreasing. Now the next important article, AWS, that is the Amazon Web Services, partners with the Niti Aayog for its first India Cloud Innovation Center. Now this we are discussing under the General Studies 3 paper Economic Development. So Amazon Web Services, AWS, the cloud arm of e-commerce giant Amazon, has partnered with government think tank Niti Aayog to establish its first Cloud Innovation Center (CIC) in India, which will help address societal challenges through the digital innovation. So, whenever such partnership occurs with any government agency, it is highly important for APSC exam. So, any option may be given, like which e-commerce giant has partnered with the government think tank Niti Aayog. The answer will be Amazon and its cloud arm, the Amazon Web Services. Now coming to the next important article, Pakistan has invited Indian Sikhs for Guru Nanak's 551st birth anniversary, and this we are discussing under the General Studies on Assam paper topic culture. So Pakistan has invited Indian Sikhs to attend the 551st birth anniversary celebrations of Sikhs faith's founder Guru Nanak Dev. Now every year a large number of Sikh pilgrims from India and different parts of the world gather at the Gurudwara Janmasthan Nankana Sahib. So Nankana Sahib is the birthplace of Guru Nanak, and it is located in the Pakistan's Punjab province. So these are important facts which might be checked in upcoming APSC prelims exam. So here we are discussing the Apne Desh Ko Jano initiative. So here regarding the stolen idols, the 3 stolen idols which are from the Vijayanagar Empire date back to 15th century and were stolen in 1978 from a temple in Tamil Nadu. Finally, India has gotten back the 15th century idols of Lord Ram, Sita and Lakshmana. So here the different forms of Shakti worship during Navratri are mentioned here. So this is not much important from exam point of view, but as during the Durga Puja it is frequently in news, so it is very important that you should make a note of it. So here the government of Assam initiative regarding the Mukhyamantri Sahaj Griha Nirman Asani. So here it is mentioned Mukhyamantri Sahaj Griha Nirman Asani. So various initiatives are taken for easy building permission from the Assam government. Here it is mentioned the Jalo Jivan Mission Ghore Ghore Bishuddha Pani initiative. Now we are discussing the important editorials from the Assam Tribune. So the first editorial is regarding the hunger index, and this we are discussing under the General Studies 2 paper governance and social justice. So India continues to rank very low in the global hunger index, that is the GSI, and it is a matter of serious concern. So according to a recently released GHI 2020 report, India now ranks 94th amongst the 107 countries in the terms of hunger and continues to be in the severe hunger category, with 14% of India's population being deemed undernourished. India ranks lower than its South Asian neighbors like Pakistan, Nepal, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka and Myanmar, and has only one neighbor, Afghanistan, below India. Now, what is the GHI? The GHI, or the Global Hunger Index, is a tool designed to comprehensively measure and track hunger at a global, regional, and national levels. And data compiled by the United Nations and other multilateral agencies are used for its calculation. Now in 2019, India's global hunger index rank had been 102 out of 117 countries. Thus, it can be inferred that despite claims by the Union government of being successful in fighting poverty and hunger, there has not been much improvement in the situation and the status has been remained same. Hunger and consequent malnutrition have graver consequences, including child wasting and stunted growth among children. So, hunger and malnutrition have consequences like child wasting and stunted growth. Now, coming to the next important editorial, the Assam-Mizoram border row. Now, since last few days, there is tension prevailing in the Assam-Meghalaya border. So, this editorial discusses the issues. Now, this topic we are discussing under the General Studies on Assam paper, Geography of Assam. Now, the incidence of violence along the two Assam-Mizoram border districts is a disturbing development, and the government authorities need to act pragmatically to diffuse tensions and restore normalcy. So, now this is a serious concern because Assam now has border issue with all the neighboring states, nearly all the neighboring states like Nagaland, Arunachal Pradesh, Meghalaya. So now Assam has also border issues with Mizoram, Mizoram state. Now the Assam-Mizoram border has a peaceful one border, and it has over 165-kilometer long border. But now the recent clashes occurred along the Kolasip district of Mizoram and Kasar region of Assam, reportedly due to some Mizo volunteers putting up checkposts allegedly on Assamese side of the border in wake of the COVID pandemic. Now, Mizoram claims that some people from Assam pelted stones at a Mizo group. Now, matters worsened when an irate mob from Mizoram set on fire some bamboo huts and stalls built along the NH 306 by villagers of Assam. Now, Assam has over the years witnessed repeated violent incursions into its border areas by several neighboring areas, and successive Assam governments have failed to treat the border issues in the seriousness they deserve, and such indifference on the part of our authorities is precisely at the root of worsening border situation, be it Nagaland, Arunachal, Meghalaya, and now Mizoram. So, various steps have to be taken by Assam so as to keep its integrity intact. Now, coming to our next important editorial, the Armenia-Azerbaijan war for the Nagorno-Karabakh region. So, APSC may check this topic since it is frequently in news in international relations section. So, APSC may check which countries, between which countries this area lies. The answer will be Armenia and Azerbaijan. And this topic we are studying under the General Studies 2 paper International Relations topic. The strategically important South Caucasus region is in a full-blown war again, as because the neighbors Armenia and Azerbaijan renewed armed hostilities over the disputed territory of Nagorno and Karabakh. Now, what is the history? The Caucasus region has been a chessboard or a power struggle for big powers like Imperial Russia or the Tsars, Ottoman Turkey, and the Safavid or Pahlavi dynasty in Iran for the last several hundred years. Now the complexity arose when, after the October Revolution, Joseph Stalin of the USSR formed the Nagorno-Karabakh, a territory in Armenian Soviet Socialist Republic, it is Armenian SSR, and it is inside the Azerbaijan Soviet Socialist Republic, it is the Azerbaijan SSR, as an oblast, means autonomous administrative unit in 1923. But the Nagorno-Karabakh remained an Armenian territory enclave inside Azerbaijan. So it is a Armenian territory, but Armenian majority territory but inside Azerbaijan, and throughout the Soviet era erupting to a conflict in 1988. Now when the USSR declined, Armenia and Azerbaijan declared independence. So each country declared independence and fought for the Nagorno-Karabakh in November that year itself. Now Armenia capturing the entire enclave and 9% of Azerbaijani territory outside Nagorno-Karabakh following the 1994 war. So the conflict was earlier addressed by well-known Soviet human rights activist Yelena Bonner, an Armenian and wife of Soviet Nobel Peace Prize winner nuclear physicist Andrei Sakharov. Now there is a saying here, famous saying, for Azerbaijan, the issue of Karabakh is a matter of ambition, and for the Armenians of Karabakh, it is a matter of life and death. So presently Nagorno and Karabakh is a de facto Republic of Armenians. So in reality, it is a Republic of Armenians, while in legal terms, it is a part of Azerbaijan. So here, the author of the editorial mentions here that the Nagorno-Karabakh conflict is allowing the ISIS-like Islamist fighters and Wahhabi Salafi movements to enter the Azerbaijan to create fissures or disruptions in the officially secular Shiite majority state to entangle the Iran from the north. Now currently Turkey's regional rival Saudi Arabia and the UAE is not taking side of Azerbaijan and signaling of backing Armenia. So this struggle is more to do with the geopolitics, because it is the geopolitics which necessitated by the interest of uninterrupted supply of global energy from fossil fuel rich Caspian region to the Western military powers, unchallenged protection and proliferation of Israeli influence, and a Cold War design of containing Russia along with its allies like Iran and Syria. Now, if one looks at the conflict, Nagorno-Karabakh conflict very closely, then it will be reflected that it may be seem to be a war between Islam and Christianity, but it will be a wrong statement, because it is rightly said to be Cold War 2.0 with some new dimensions. Now this is called Cold War 2.0 because the power struggle over the resource rich region of around the Caucasus region. So with these students, we come to an end to today's current affairs class. I hope the class was very helpful. Thank you.